One year, I think it's probably when I was 18 or 19. Passed through San Francisco on the way to the Tetons and went to a damaged can store that has damaged canned food, dented cans.
All pet food or human and pet food?
It's human food.
Oh, okay.
But they had pet food.
They had pet food.
And they had cans of cat food for a nickel a can. They were all dented and stuff. So I bought a case of those. I lived off of that. And then ate porcupines, marmots, ground squirrels, grouse. Get a grouse with an ice axe.
Hello and welcome to Sidechannels, presented by the Flyfish Journal. My name is Jason Rolfe. I'm the editor of the Flyfish Journal as well as the host of Sidechannels, along with our photo editor, Kopi Voita. For our last episode of Season 2, we've got Yvon Chouinard and Craig Mathews on the podcast today. But before we get to the show, I want to tell you about the sponsors that make Sidechannels possible. You know that black hole in the back of your truck where gear goes to disappear forever? Decked has put a stop to that. Fishing rods, organized. Power tools, locked down. Climbing gear, camping gear, sports gear, your kids' weird toy collection, all of it dry, secure, and actually findable. It's like a filing cabinet for your rugged side. I've got the decked drawer system in my truck, and honestly, it's a game changer. I can hit the road, get waded up, and be waist deep in the river before most people finish untangling their leaders. So stop playing hide and seek with your gear. Get decked and get after it. Check out decked.com/flyfish and treat your truck like the gear hauling beast it was born to be. Sidechannels is also supported by Patagonia Fly Fishing. Patagonia's commitment to making solid gear that stands up to all the abuse you can throw at it is matched by their dedication to our home planet. They've had some great things brewing recently, including their new Swift Current Expedition waders. Built on exploration, these waders are purpose-made for connecting with wild fish and inspired by the tireless anglers and groups fighting to protect the clean water those fish depend on. Visit patagonia.com/fly-fishing to learn more about the new Swift Current Expedition Series waders and the community of conservationists and environmental advocates that make Patagonia what it is. On the list of people who probably don't need much of an introduction on a fly fishing podcast, Yvon Chouinard and Craig Mathews are probably near the top. Both have had a significant influence on both the culture and activity of fly fishing, and with their newest book, Pheasant Tail Simplicity, co-authored with their friend Mauro Mazzo, Yvon and Craig take the argument of their last book, Simple Fly Fishing, a bit further. The book is part technical treatise and fly recipe collection, and part philosophy. Either way, it's well worth a read for anyone interested in fly fishing with a slightly more minimalist point of view. For this conversation, I met up with Yvon and Craig in Dillon, Montana, after seeing their book release event at Montana State University in Bozeman the evening before. We chatted about the book, of course, but I also had the opportunity to learn a bit more about their background, including how they met and what they feel they've learned from each other in nearly 40 years of friendship. As with the last episode, Kopi wasn't able to tag along for this one, but it was a fun one with a couple of titans. I hope you dig it as much as I did. Let's get to the show. It's nice to see people, come out for a book event. Whatever the book is, that always gets me excited to see people come out for a book event and, just be excited about the printed word, I guess, basically.
Well, this is a pretty esoteric book. I was surprised how many people came out. I mean, you got to be a fly tyer, really.
Yeah. Do you think everybody there was just there for the sort of fly tying aspect of it?
I don't think so. I was impressed with how many young people were there. Yeah. That really excited me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they came up and talked, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I thought the crowd was certainly diverse, you know, especially in that sense. Lots of young people, and you know, I was watching folks, and you know, they were really interested in what you guys were saying.
Yeah, I was looking at the audience while we were talking, and everybody was sitting on the edge of their seat. They really were into it, which tickled me.
Yeah. So I thought that was great. I thought that was something that was real special. How did it? So it felt good to you guys?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was pleasantly surprised. I had no idea how many people would come out.
Do you enjoy?
There was a lot of. They could have had 250 if they had.
Well, sounds like there was quite the wait list.
There was quite a waiting list.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
I had so many people get a hold of me and say, "Hey, we're 64 on the list or whatever." I didn't see them there last night, so.
Yeah. Do you guys enjoy doing that kind of thing? I mean, I hope you enjoy it.
Well,
kind of
once in a while, but I wouldn't want to go on a book tour.
No.
I keep repeating myself. Oh, Christ.
When did you guys? So I definitely want to talk about the the book a little bit today, but I also wanted to just learn a little bit more about, you know, how you guys met and your history together, and how it has sort of, you know, you've done at least 2 books that I can think of together, and that is it's a process that takes dedication, it takes patience with each other, it takes probably friendship, and I'm just curious to see where that sort of began for you guys to begin with, at least. And so I'm wondering, how long have you guys known each other?
God, you know, it's been probably 35 years, don't you think?
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it was in the 80s, and maybe closer to 40.
Yeah.
And I was on the phone one day, and I was tying flies and trying to work the shop, and Yvon,
this was the fly
this
shop
was in
you
our
owned.
old Blue Ribbon Flies in West Yellowstone, and I was the only person there.
Yeah.
And I was on the phone taking an order, and I'll never forget, Yvon walked in, and he waited for me to be done with the phone call, and he was looking around. I had no idea who he was, and he's looking around, and he goes, how come you don't have Patagonia clothing in here? And I said, well, we've tried to get the line, but the rep hasn't given it to us yet. And Yvon goes, well, this is a working fly shop. You could see we had 9 fly tying stations going.
Yeah.
And he said, this is a working fly shop. He said, I own Patagonia. You're a dealer now. And we instantly hit it off.
That's the ultimate sales rep right there.
Yeah.
When Yvon walks through the door.
Yeah. I'll never forget, I was tying black beetles, black foam beetles. And I believe the next day or the day after you brought Fletcher in, and he was watching me tie flies. And he was really intrigued. His eyes were really big, and I gave him a couple of foam beetles. And I think you guys were going to Slough Creek or the Yellowstone or something. And he later got a hold of me and told me that he had caught fish on those beetles.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How old was Fletcher at that time?
God, he was a little bitty guy.
Little guy?
Yeah.
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 That's cool. Does Fletcher still fish? Fletcher's your son. I know he builds surfboards and whatnot as well, but he still fly fishes?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so you meet at the fly shop in the 80s. How did the sort of friendship grow from there?
Well, just organically, I guess.
Yeah, we started fishing together and talking about tying flies and designing flies and simple flies back then.
Even back then, that was kind of a thing?
Yeah, and back then, I think Tyers had just started tying these great big, gaudy, flashy flies, and we were kind of both of the same ilk, kind of like, that really didn't do it for us. We were more trying to imitate what fish were really feeding on.
Yeah. And Craig, if I remember you last night, when did you start fly fishing? Was fly fishing something you had done your whole life?
Since I was like 6 years old.
6 years old.
Yeah.
And
so
where did
70 years now.
Great. And where did you grow up?
I grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, but we had a summer home up in north central Michigan on a lake, and there were trout streams nearby, and that's where I first got my teeth on fly fishing and trout fishing.
Okay, and when did you come to Montana?
Came to Montana the first in 1970.
Okay.
Came out. I was a police officer then, and would come out, save my overtime, and take time and a half comp time, rather than time and a half pay, and spend as much as a month in the fall in Yellowstone fishing.
Wow. Like in the actual park?
Just mostly in the
bumming
park.
around the park?
Yeah, and my wife joined one of our trips in the fall, and we went back home, and that would have been in 1978. And I was tying flies. I was completing a couple of master's degrees at Michigan State University, and I was a police officer, and
Just like
I was tying flies.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, and I was tying flies part-time for Bud Lilly.
Okay.
Bud Lilly's fly shop in West Yellowstone, and trading them for rods and reels and whatnot. And my wife was sitting there one night as I was tying stonefly nymphs for Bud, and she said, "You know what, we're going to move to Yellowstone." And I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah, we're going to move to Yellowstone." So she gets on the phone, and she called the West Yellowstone Police Department. And they hired her on the spot. They said, "We need a dispatcher right now." And she gives me the phone, and I thought she was kidding me. I didn't think she was. And all of a sudden, I'm talking to the police chief, who says, "Hey, I need a cop right now. Do you have experience in any education?" I said, "Oh, yeah." And I told him, and he said, "Well, you're the next police chief." And I said, "Whoa, wait a minute."
Goodness.
So I'm going to Alaska in 2 weeks. And he said, I can't hire you over the phone. You got to come out and interview.
Yeah.
And 2 days later, we're flying out to interview, and I'm going, holy moly, on a wing and a prayer, and away we went.
That is wild.
Yeah, and we were going to be in Yellowstone for 1 year. We had a guarantee I could go back to work for my old outfit in Michigan.
Yeah.
And we never went back.
And how long did you work as a police officer?
Almost 14 years.
Okay. Mostly here in Montana then?
No.
Or was it mostly back?
Probably a little over 10 years in Michigan, and almost 4 years in West Yellowstone.
And did you go into sort of the fly fishing industry straight from that?
Oh, that's a whole different story.
That's a whole different story.
Yeah, the fire chief was, he owned a big motel in town, and he pulls me over one day, and he said, "Hey," he said, "you know, we had 36 police chiefs in 16 years in West Yellowstone." And he said, "I know you're not going to last all that long as a police chief. What are you going to do?" And I said, "Well, I've been thinking about tying a wholesale fly tying, starting a wholesale fly tying operation." And 8 hours later, they were digging the hole for blue ribbon flies.
Wow.
We decided to go for it.
Wow.
We hired disabled fly tyers. And later we hired even federal prisoners as fly tyers.
Wow.
We had 46 fly tyers.
Wow.
And the business just grew, the wholesale business. And then when I retired in '82 from the cop shop, we decided to go full retail.
Went full time into that.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think of how that sort of industry has changed, you know, from having a crew of fly tyers here in Montana, you know, were you selling flies around the country?
Yeah, we sold L.L. Bean, Orvis. We had many accounts throughout the country, a lot of local accounts, local fly shops.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, Yvon, if I remember correctly, because I think I've read that fly fishing came for you a bit later in life, right?
Yeah. I started fishing, like, same thing, 6 years old.
Oh, yeah.
But I was in Maine, and, you know, just bait fishing for little brookies and stuff.
Yeah.
And we moved to California when I was 7. And when I was 16, I'd come out. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I've been fishing forever. I mean, when I was in Burbank, California, before the other kids could even cross the street, I would ride my bicycle miles to Toluca Lake and sneak on to Bob Hope's golf course and fish for bass. I'd hang out in the cattails, so he couldn't see me, and I'd cast for bass.
Was
I
this
made
like
my
a
own
private?
plugs. I mean, I was like 12, 13 years old or something.
Yeah. Was it like a private, like Bob
yeah.
Hope's personal golf course?
Oh no, it was
like,
well, I don't know if it's public or not.
yeah. Either way, you're
He had a
sneaking
pond
on
there with bass in it.
Yeah.
I almost drowned there. That's one of my 9 lives was taken up there. In fact, I was going under. A kid came by in a canoe and saw me fishing.
Mm-hmm.
He's the same age as me, and he said, "Hey, you want to ride in a canoe?" And so I said, "Yeah." So I got in a canoe and we tipped over, and I didn't know how to swim.
Oh man.
And I was going under for the last time, and this kid saved me.
Yeah.
He'd been trained, I guess, life-saving, and saved my ass. And so, even as a teenager, young teenager, I'd catch perch in the ocean, and my father helped me make a smokehouse.
Oh, cool.
So I started smoking these fish.
Yeah. How was smoked perch?
I can't remember, but a long time ago.
Probably not quite as good as smoked salmon.
And then when I was 16, I went out, drove a car that I overhauled in auto shop class, 1940 Ford 2-door sedan, and went out and climbed Gannett Peak in the Wind Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
Then ended up in the Tetons, and I think probably the next year I started going into the Wind River range, and I was fishing with a spinning rod.
Mm-hmm.
And eating fish, while we're climbing in the Wind Rivers. And when I was about, 18, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
I was in the Tetons, and I was watching Glenn Exum, who owned a mountain guide service there. He and Paul Petzold. And he was teaching his son how to cast, Eddie Exum,
Mm-hmm.
who did. And I didn't know any of them. And I was there, I think I was barefooted, shorts on, no shirt,
Just
and
dirt
just
bagging
watching.
around.
And Glenn Exum looked over at me and said, "Hey, come on over here, son. I'll teach you how to cast a fly rod."
Away you went.
That was that? How old
Yeah, I was 18.
were you? Okay.
And then,
So you were still pretty young. For some reason in my mind, you were, maybe in your 30s or something when you
No, I
sort of
was
discovered
18.
fly fishing.
and so I went out and I bought a spin fly combo rod. You can put
Yeah.
either
Yeah.
on there. I think it was steel or something.
Yeah.
Made out of steel.
Probably casted like a dream.
Oh, yeah. And I'd take that into the Wind Rivers.
Yeah.
And I just finally just went straight for, because, we knew nothing about fly fishing at those
Yeah,
days.
yeah. Yeah.
Never heard of it. Yeah, so I've never looked back. I haven't spin fish since.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Were you mostly self-taught then?
Completely self-taught.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one fly shop in Jackson, Carmichael's, that was in the park,
Mm-hmm.
and he's quite a well-known. He developed the Mormon Girl, which imitated the little stonefly.
Yeah, a little Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's where I started fly fishing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did it as a way to feed myself.
Yeah.
I was starving to death there.
Yeah. I love those stories about just you guys back in the day climbing and dirt bagging around and sleeping at the base of the climbs and whatnot. Some good stories.
I actually didn't own a tent till I was 40 years old. I took great pride in always finding a cave or an
Yeah.
overhang
Yeah.
or an alpine fir tree.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you crawl underneath the lowest branches, it's like shingles. You don't get a drop on you.
Yeah.
They're unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then I had a army surplus down bag that was full of holes and feathers all over the place.
Yeah.
And there was a Fred's Market in Jackson. It was the only little market around. And the butcher there would save fat trimmings and bones and give them to me. I call it fatty crap. Hey, you got any fatty crap today? And, I was eating cat food. One year, I think it was probably when I was 18 or 19. Passed through San Francisco on the way to the Tetons and went to a damaged can store that has damaged canned food, dented cans.
All pet food or human and pet food?
It was human food.
Oh, okay.
But they had pet food.
They had pet food.
And they had cans of cat food for a nickel a can. They were all dented and stuff. So I bought a case of those. I lived off of that. And then ate porcupines, marmots, ground squirrels, grouse. Get a grouse with an ice axe. I mean, they get on a limb.
Yeah.
And, they don't move.
They just kind of sit there and look at you.
Yeah, so it was.
Do you think that's the sort of, for you, the foundation of this, I don't know, obsession or preoccupation with simplicity and with this idea of simplicity? Do you think it comes from those early climbing days and sort of being forced into it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I've always I mean, you think, well, you must have suffered. No, I didn't suffer. You took great pride in feeding yourself, without any money. I mean, I had zero money. And I one time, probably when I was 18, I was looking for a job bucking bales of hay, these 50-pound bales of hay. You get a nickel a bale to pick them up and put them on a truck and stuff. And I went into town, and there was a bar there, a real Western bar. Yeah. And I asked the bartender if he knew any ranchers that needed help, and he said, well, come back in a couple of days, I'll talk to ranchers. And while I was there, a buckboard came into town, pulled with horses, and it was a rancher who lived way the hell up the Grovot. And the Grovot River at that time was a dirt road, rough dirt road, and it was closed in the winter. So they were totally isolated all winter long. And he had his daughter with him, and he was going bar to bar looking for a husband for his daughter. And he wanted a $300 dowry for the daughter. Yeah. I mean, this was just the last of the old. This is 1957 or something. Yeah. It's really the last of the old West. And but anyway.
So you've kind of been chasing that idea of simplicity. It sounds like in some way, shape, or form since then, I would imagine.
Yeah, and I'm a avid reader, and I was really influenced by Antoine Saint-Exupéry. Oh yeah, and he wrote about simplicity that I adopted as our mantra for being in business, where something is perfected not when you can't add anything more to it, but when you can't take anything away. Yeah. And he talked about beauty of when you really solve a technical problem and stuff, it ends up beautiful because it's simple. Yeah. There's nothing extra on it. Yeah. And, when you look at these cars in the 50s and stuff that had all the chrome breasts on the front and all these fins and all extra stuff, and then you compared it with a Ferrari. Yeah. Which was just nothing added onto the
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
And I've always liked the whole aesthetic of simplicity. And then, in sport, it was the same thing. It was, when I was 18, I was keen, 16 to 18, I was a keen spear fisherman in Malibu. At that time, Malibu had a lot of lobsters and abalone and stuff, and I had to make all my own gear. Had to make our own weight belt. I'd go buy a cartridge belt from Army Navy store, and I melted down some car batteries into my little bricks and put them in the pockets, and then I made a little quick release thing on the belt out of a door hinge, where you pull it. And I had to make everything because you couldn't, they couldn't buy any of that stuff. And I always got, the limit was 5 lobsters, or maybe it was 10 lobsters and 5 abalone or something. But I always got my limit just free diving.
Yeah.
And I don't know. When I was just in grammar school and stuff, I always took the opposite path of everybody.
Yeah.
I always
Bit of a
played my own game.
contrarian, finding your own way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always been my philosophy. To invent your own game, you can always be a winner.
Yeah.
If you're stuck playing someone else's game, they win.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Is that something that you could see when you met Yvon, Craig?
Yeah,
That.
yeah, right off the bat.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I was just thinking about the old fly fishermen that I was influenced by years ago, and how simple their gear was way back when. They had one fly rod, one reel. They had a line sometimes that they made themselves, either out of horsehair or monofilament, twisting it. And they had a pair of waders that were patched to the hilt, probably 20 years old. That leaked like a sieve anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a fly box with about 10 flies in it.
Yeah.
And how everybody has 28 fly rods now and 15 fly reels and boxes of flies.
Yeah. I've been lately trying to give rods away.
I have done the same. Yeah.
well, they
Friends.
accumulate just like T-shirts.
Yeah.
Especially if you're, in the industry.
Yeah.
You
No.
end up getting them. And I'm fortunate to have, I've got some friends with kids that are getting
There
into
you go.
fishing. So I'm like, yes, take this rod. Or just friends that are curious about fly fishing.
Sure.
Or maybe they've started fly fishing. They have a 6 weight, but I've got a 4 weight I can give them, or whatever it is. And
Sure.
it's nice. It's nice. There's definitely something to be said for, just, simplifying, like what you guys have said, but just having less. It feels good to have less.
Yeah, and not only have less, but have the best. So have one fly rod that is the absolute best you can get, and that's it. Keep it at that.
Yeah.
And so, like I have, we had some fires in California a few years ago in Ventura, and we had to leave the house, and my wife spent all night packing the car, and I grabbed my Leon Hansen cane rod and my passport and went back to sleep. That was the only thing that I could not afford to lose.
Yeah.
All the rest, photo albums, all that shit, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
But that cane rod is such a prize for me, and I fish with it all the time.
Yeah.
I've got 2 Leon Hansens and 1 Chris Vance,
Yeah.
who was mentored by Leon Hansen. But it's such a beautiful thing, and you catch as many fish as you would with a carbon fiber rod.
Oh, yeah.
It's like having a balsa wood surfboard, instead of plastic, and
Yeah. Yeah. It's got a little bit of soul.
Yeah, it's got soul. And lately I've been fishing a spring creek where you got to use 8X tippet,
Yeah.
tiny little flies.
I don't think I've ever even seen 8X tippet.
Oh, that's yeah. I get it from Germany.
Oh man.
And that rod, that little 2/8. I have a 2/8 Leon Hansen 8-foot 2/8 rod.
Mm-hmm.
It protects the tippet.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if you have a 5/8 rod there, an 8X tippet, forget it.
Yeah.
Pops
There's
it.
no way you're gonna.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, for me, my philosophy is own less, but own the best.
Yeah.
That's going to last a lifetime. And, you know, I'm always getting rid of stuff. Like I 2 years ago, I donated, I don't know, 7 or 8 fly rods that just accumulated.
Mm-hmm.
They accumulate like bill caps or T-shirts. I don't know.
Well, I think especially too when certain activities either are or can be gear intensive. Surfing is probably one that's a little bit less. You can accumulate some surfboards, but it's a little trickier. Whereas climbing, fly fishing, those are some things that it's easy to find yourself after 10 years with. Like, I don't need 3 of this thing. I don't need 3 5 weights or, whatever it is. And so,
yeah, I was, years ago, I was fishing with Rene Harrop.
Uh-huh.
I was fishing with him, and we fished all day on Henry's Fork, and we just got skunked. I caught one little fish that had one eye, and he didn't catch anything. And he admitted at the end of the day he had 2,000 flies in his vest.
Oh, man.
But, that's his living.
Yeah.
And so I don't fault him for that. But
Yeah.
But it didn't do him any good to have 2,000 flies in his vest.
No.
And this little spring creek I'm fishing now, I have a little hook box, plastic hook box.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is my entire collection of flies that I need because they're all midges and maybe betas. But
Yeah.
that's it. That's the only hatch going on right now.
Yeah. Well, there's something. I mean, that kind of gets to that idea of, if you know the river, if you know the place that you're going to be fishing, you can go prepared. So if I know that, maybe there's 2 insects that I have a chance to encounter, on X river today, that's all I need to bring.
Yeah.
And
I always encourage people, know your hatches.
Yeah.
And then you can really simplify in terms of the number of fly patterns that you need.
Yeah.
And I do the same thing. I carry an old Dairiki hook box that's got about 10 flies in it in this pocket. Now, I still carry all my flies around, probably 2,000 flies.
Yeah.
Just in case.
There is still always that feeling like, well, what if they start just some hoppers come out of nowhere?
Exactly.
But again, that's the kind of thing like, well, this is the time of year, or that's the time of year when you might encounter a hopper or a beetle. And so,
I'm so amazed at the people that really don't learn the hatches and the fly patterns and tie flies. And I mean, the hatches and knowing your hatches is really the root of our sport. Mm-hmm. And it's so easy. When we wrote a book, myself and our old business partner, John Jursak, wrote a book, Fishing Yellowstone Hatches.
Yeah.
And it's got a dozen caddis and a dozen mayflies and a damsel and a dragonfly and an ant and a beetle. That's all you need.
Yeah.
And if you know what time you're going to be fishing, you just pare that down accordingly.
Yeah.
And you don't need all those fly boxes.
Do you think that this tendency to not learn hatches and not learn a river, whatever it is, do you think that's a recent phenomenon, or is that something that you saw even back in the 80s when you had, when you were tying flies and running a fly shop and whatnot?
I think the older fly fishermen years ago, the guys that around the river pretty much every day. They knew their hatches. They knew when to expect them. I remember growing up fishing the Hexagenia hatch in Michigan, and they would follow that hex hatch throughout the whole state of Michigan. They knew what stream it would come off and what time. And they'd drive up 40 miles and fish the next one, then the next one. And, they were far more in tune to the hatches.
Yeah.
And I think this phenomena of these sparkly, glittery flies that you walk into a fly shop and there's 100 feet of different fly patterns.
Yeah.
And, you're in the business to sell flies. I was in that business for almost 40 years.
Yeah.
And fly fishermen tend to be kind of insecure. It's kind of like, well, I might need that someday. And I remember filling up boxes of flies and then checking a guy out and go, oh, that's $800. God, that's all? And they would put them all in their fly box, and they would never use all those flies. They'd find one fly that worked.
Yeah.
And it always intrigued me. The guys years ago, the old timers pretty much knew their hatches, and they had read, what literature there was on it. They could have written the book themselves.
Yeah.
And they were far more in tune to those hatches.
Yeah.
I think the internet and things like that kind of might downplay hatches and insects and the knowledge thereof now. It's so easy to walk in a fly shop, look at a board and go, I need those 20 flies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's, I think it's this tendency to be focused on the outcome or the result as opposed to the process.
It can be the same thing with fly rods.
Yeah.
You walk into a fly shop and people go, God, what fly rod do I need today?
Yeah.
And you can literally sell people fly rods pretty much any day of the week. And we had, the Stiffo Biffo fly rods that are guaranteed to cast 120 feet. Who fishes 120 feet of line?
Exactly.
That's why I love these soft rods, like the bamboo rod that Yvon's talking about, the Leon Hansen rods.
Yeah.
I fish a lot of Tom Morgan Rod Smith rods and Winston rods.
Yeah.
They're tippy, but they protect your fine tippet.
Yeah.
And they cast 15 feet. That's where I usually am fishing.
Yeah.
That distance.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think, the ideas in Pheasant Tail Simplicity, are those things that were sort of simmering and brewing even back when you met? I mean, you said when you guys first met, you were already kind of into like, how much can we simplify it? How few flies can we take to the river?
We used to joke. We'd get out of my pickup truck and we'd have great dividers with 20 different fly boxes.
Yeah.
And we'd go, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We got to work this out.
Yeah.
And then we talked about making slimmer fly boxes so you could actually fit more flies and more fly boxes in your vest.
Yeah.
And one day we decided, this is ridiculous. How many fly patterns are we really fishing?
Yeah.
And we take out our little boxes of flies and go, well, I guess I'm fishing 4 different flies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it started with getting interested in soft hackles
Yeah.
and reading Sylvester Nimitz books.
Was he from around here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he lives in
he's-
Bozeman.
yeah,
He was
from
originally
Bozeman.
from Indiana, but he came to Bozeman.
Okay.
And, there's all kinds of soft hackles, all different colors, and, orange bodies and yellow bodies and this and that. And so I got into using those, and I'd always fish with 2 flies. And at some point, I had a pheasant tail and partridge on, and then some other fly. And they always took this pheasant tail and partridge.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, why use all these other flies?
Yeah.
So then I spent a year fishing with pheasant tail and partridge only.
Yeah.
And I was fishing salmon in Iceland.
Yeah.
I was catching salmon with them.
How big were you tying them for anadromous fish?
14s, 12, 14s.
Oh, really? Still
No,
small.
I was hitching them.
Yeah.
I hitch them right on the surface, and just in Iceland, hitch flies work really good in Iceland.
Yeah.
they
Well, and Atlantics will take some small flies.
oh,
right?
they take really small flies, and so I went bone fishing. I went. I only used pheasant tail and partridge in different weights and different sizes, and I caught as many fish as I always catch.
Yeah.
And that was an eye opener for me. And I think you could take a sparkle dun and imitate every mayfly.
Yeah.
Even, pheasant tail and sparkle dun. Even a PMD hatch. I kill it on a PMD hatch with a flymph.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Even though PMDs are, cream color,
Yeah.
when they're emerging, they're not they're only half cream color. The other half
That's
is,
right.
Yeah.
is
Same thing with caddis. Tell them the ex-caddis story in the Atlantic salmon. The hundreds of Atlantic salmon you've taken on an ex-caddis.
Oh my God! A couple of years ago, Mauro Mazzo, myself, we were in Labrador, in this river, and it's very low water, and we hooked 232 Atlantic salmon. Now, we didn't land them all because we're using barbless hooks, and you're supposed to stop fishing at, I don't know, 6 or 3 or so.
Yeah.
So we just hook. It was like tarpon fishing. We don't give a shit about landing them.
Yeah.
And we just let them shake the hook out. But we hooked 232 Atlantic salmon. And we treated them all like they were brown trout.
What do you mean by that?
We did not swing classic salmon flies across their face,
Yeah.
I was using soft hackles, and I'd imitate the emerger. So in other words, instead of swinging a fly horizontally, I'd mend and get a direct pull and then give it little twitches so it looks like an emerger in front of the salmon's nose. Mm-hmm. And then we were using dry flies. We were using a bee. The only other fly that we used was a bee pattern, because they have some kind of a horse fly that looks like a bee there, and that works pretty good. But then I was using X-Caddis, a size 14 X-Caddis on a 2X short hook. So that's really a 16.
Yeah.
And I was killing them with that. And there's a little X-Caddis just floating along,
Yeah.
and a big white mouth coming up.
Yeah.
And eats it.
Yeah.
And then going ape shit in the air and stuff.
Yeah.
We were trout fishing for salmon. Now, I can't say you can do that on the Spey River or the Alta.
Sure.
But for Labrador and Iceland, it works unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
We'll get back to the show in a minute, but before we do, I want to tell you about the new Deco case colors from Decked. Deco cases are solidly built, weatherproof, go-anywhere gear canisters, and they come in a variety of sizes and configurations that allow maximum versatility for whatever ways you can dream up to utilize them. You can get them with a variety of trays and dividers, as well as foam inserts that can be customized for carrying everything from camera gear to power tools. With a handful of new colors, including Ranger Green, Blaze Orange, and Cool Gray, you can match the case to its intended use. So Ranger Green for that low-profile blending in look, or Blaze Orange for that can't miss it, won't forget it at the campsite, this stuff is important look. Deco cases are a great way to get in on what Decked has cooking for you non-truck owners as well. And like their truck bed organizers, they're made in the USA. Shipping is always free. Visit decked.com/flyfish to learn more, and then get out there, get decked, and get after it.
Do you think you guys could have done these books 20, 30 years ago?
No.
Why not?
I
Just wasn't
of the important things about a fly, what are the important things about a fly? Is it the fact that it's some guy named it after himself, and you think, oh, he's a great fisherman, so this fly must work.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think number one is to put action to the fly, or no action, either dead drift or a twitch or a hitch. So action, I think, is number one. Number two is size, I think. If there's a hatch, like in the spring, I'll use a flimp, a size 10 flimp, because the insects are all big, and it works great. This time of the year, I use a 16, 18 flimp if I'm just searching for fish. And color is way down.
Yeah.
Way down the list, I think. Like I said, you can imitate the PMD hatch with a pheasant tail body fly,
Yeah.
which is not at all the color of the PMD.
Yeah.
Or, mahogany duns. I mean, shit. So not only have we reduced the flies that we carry because we know what to expect, but we have all-around flies that'll work anytime, anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what this book is about.
Yeah. And I think really key, imitate the flies, the insects' behavior, the way they ride in the water, the way the fly pattern rides in the water. You look at these big hackled flies and tell me how many naturals look like that floating down the river, floating along on
Just a little
hackle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've laid in the weeds. One of the stories in the book that I wrote was laying in the weeds, watching 3 big brown trout and how they were recognizing and keying on pale morning dun nymphs as they emerged to the surface and got caught in the surface film.
Yeah.
And they had the trailing shucks. We have some photos in the book, one of a green drake with a trailing shuck, and that's why the sparkle dun works so well.
Yeah.
It's easy to tie, and it doesn't use expensive hackle.
Yeah.
Well, we write in the book that a lot of this is like Italian cooking, where classic Italian cooking, you're limited to 5 ingredients.
Yeah.
Each ingredient has to be perfect. So going back to fishing in Labrador with that X-caddis, I ran out of X-caddises. And there was a guy coming into the river,
Yeah.
and I said, hey, go buy me some elk hair caddis at this fly shop in Goose Bay. So he did. I couldn't catch a single fish on an elk hair caddis.
What was the difference?
Because an X-caddis is low in the water. It doesn't have a hackle on it.
Oh, X-caddis versus elk hair caddis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The elk hair caddis is high up in the water.
No hackle.
And so
In the shuck.
you'd think, I mean, everything else is very similar. I couldn't catch a fish on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you start like getting your nippers out and clipping hackle off and trying to shape it into?
Yeah. I mean, if
the
you're going to
right shape.
simplify your life, everything has to be perfect. And that's, I think that's a big lesson for me anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's
Slowing
what
down.
fish recognize and what triggers them, the response to take the fly. It's very simple. I mean, rivers read like an open book if you just sit and observe.
Yeah.
And that's why I always tell people, just sit on the bank for a minute.
Well, I love that too. We have a photo of you. I'm not going to say the photographer because I don't want to get it wrong. I think I remember who it is, but a photo of you sitting on the bank somewhere around here, western Montana, and you're fishing, you're casting, you're not crouching, you're not, doing something sneaky. You're just sitting.
Yep, I just
And
sit or
your
I
feet
scooch on
are
my
kind of
butt.
in the water.
Yeah.
And I think that there's just really a lot to be said for that approach.
I just reread Spring Creek, Nick Lyons. He spent a month on the Spring Creek.
Yeah.
And he started out fishing it like everybody else, standing up, but the fish on this creek are really spooky. And towards the end of the month, he's sitting down, waiting, at first you scare the fish away, then they'll, in 10 minutes they come back, and you're sitting down and you're doing little 10-foot casts.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really a great book because it showed the evolution of his Spring Creek experience.
Yeah.
I was with Nick many times on Spring Creek
Yeah.
when we'd fish together, and Nick would always say, "Stand up like a man and fish." A week later, Nick is crawling on his belly and sitting on his butt catching fish.
I bet. That's awesome. Well, yeah. One thing that I've appreciated about this book, about Pheasant Tail Simplicity, and the previous book, and just kind of the overall ethos, I think, is that this really, it's not just about fishing, right? It's about that idea of simplicity, of cutting back, of getting rid of extra, is really an ethos that I think if we applied it to our lives, lots of things would be better, right? And I'm wondering how much how much those ideas are, sort of front of mind for you guys when you're doing a fly fishing book. And it's definitely a very fly fishing centric book. There's technique in here, and there's fly recipes and everything, but there's also, sort of this bigger philosophical idea. And I wonder how much are you guys thinking about that when you're writing a book like this?
Well, I'm in, the clothing business, the outdoor clothing business, and I just been working on a couple fishing designs. The old SST jacket, I redesigned it to where it has waterproof pockets now, so you don't get your flies wet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got it's got a unique cuff system because you're always getting wet. Water running down your sleeve,
Mm-hmm.
And so we solved that problem. I did a whole bunch of things. But that jacket is the absolute best fishing jacket I think you could have. But it also is the best sea kayaking jacket you could have.
Mm-hmm.
Because, it's short for wading, and
Mm-hmm.
it has these waterproof pockets, because you need pocket space when you're sea kayak, because you got a spray skirt and stuff, and you don't want to get inside the boat every time you need something.
Yeah.
And so it's multifunctional.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the whole idea of having few things that are multifunctional.
They can do a lot. Yeah.
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 Because, like you can have a ski jacket and it sits in your closet 9 or 10 months a year.
Yeah.
That's what's killing the planet.
Kind of
This
crazy.
is proliferation of equipment and gear and stuff. And,
Yeah.
I used the metaphor of the example of the banana slicer. You
mentioned that last night.
You can buy a banana slicer.
Banana slicers and avocado slicers and tomatoes. It's like,
Oh my God,
you
that's
just need a knife.
unbelievable.
It is.
And it just, all you need is a really good knife. However, no one has good knives. Every kitchen now has these stainless steel pieces of shit
That's
that
very
you
true.
cannot sharpen because it's gummy. The steel, I'm a blacksmith and I know
Yeah, yeah.
steel.
Yeah.
The steel is gummy and I can't
Yeah.
sharpen them.
Yeah.
Whereas, the old carbon steel chef knife, I bought one 55 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks the same as the day I bought it. I sharpen it every couple of weeks. It just takes 2 minutes to sharpen it.
Mm-hmm.
And it cuts slices tomatoes like you can't believe.
Yeah.
You can shave the hair on your arm with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it rusts. So what? So do all the
So just dry it off.
all the sushi chefs all have carbon steel knives.
Oh yeah.
That's why they wipe them off after every time they use it.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I'm done with this knife, I can give it to my kids, and they'll give it to their kids, and it'll go for 10 generations.
Yeah.
And that's the responsible thing to do. Buy the absolute best. But you got to, first of all, know what's the best. You know, you think, I need a stainless steel knife. Look at that shiny knife.
Yeah.
No, that's not the best. That's the worst.
Yeah.
And it's like my Leon Hansen cane rod. That's the most prized thing I have, and I'll be able to hand that down to my kids. And it makes no compromise for fishing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll catch as many fish with that rod as the most expensive carbon fiber.
Oh yeah.
I always likened it to when I was a cop, when I was the police chief in West Yellowstone, for instance, and we'd have big bike gangs come. The Gypsy Jokers were probably the nastiest.
Yeah.
Hell's Angels.
Yeah.
And what I'd do is, I remember the sheriff of Gallatin County would come in force. We gotta come in force and show I said, wait a minute. I said, I'm going to do a different approach.
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of try to police the community the way it wants to be policed in the same way with bike gangs.
Yeah.
So he goes, you're crazy. This isn't going to work. And I'd call the treasurer and the secretary of the bike gang. I'd round them up, and I'd buy them breakfast, and we'd have a discussion.
Uh-huh.
And I'd say, hey, guys, I really need your help.
Yeah.
And I don't want to complicate things, and I don't really want to, have a problem in the community nor a problem with you guys.
Yeah.
And I said, let's face it, there's 250 of you here, and there's 5 cops.
Yeah.
So what I did is I arranged to have an 80-acre campground, Forest Service campground, with a toilet for you and fire pits.
Yeah.
And you can be out of town 8 miles, and you can shoot your guns and have the greatest time in the world and not bother the locals. And they look at me and they go, you do that for us? I said, hell yeah. I said, I know you're going to come into town and harass the tourists a little bit. That's part of being a biker.
Yeah.
We got along great. And we didn't have to have complicated situations where you had fights and deploy tear gas and have your jail full. And there were times before I was the police chief, they had to actually chain prisoners to the trees because the jail cells were full. We didn't have that. You make it easy on yourself. You make it easy on the
Wild
community.
West stuff.
And it's the same thing with fly fishing. You just kind of do the right thing and create the right situation.
Well, yeah. I mean, that really goes back to that idea of kind of, I don't know, knowing your audience or knowing your river, knowing your fish.
Totally.
And not trying to sort of impose your will on things. Yeah. Just like if you're, climbing a route in Yosemite or whatever, like
Sure.
You're not imposing your will on anything. Like you're doing.
Well, it goes back to knowing your hatches and your flies. People used to come in the shop and they just go, my God, I'm just having a terrible time. There's thousands of fly patterns. There's all these insect hatches. I can't put it together.
Yeah.
And we wrote a book years ago called Fishing Yellowstone Hatches, and it listed the hatches,
Yeah.
the mayflies and the caddis and whatnot. And I'd give them that book and I'd say, here, you can come back and buy that book, or if you don't like it, I'll buy it back from you.
Yeah.
But I want you to read this. And they'd come back and go, whoa, this is really easy. We know the hatches and we know the flies. Bingo.
Yeah. I think a lot of time, it seems to me at least, that a lot of times people just don't realize how straightforward and simple some of this
They make
stuff.
it hard on themselves.
Yeah. I definitely have that feeling sometimes, whether it's approaching a fishery or some other activity where I go into it, I'm anxious about it, I'm a little scared, I'm unsure. And so that sort of prevents you from just kind of finding the breakdown and finding, those few simple steps that will.
The worst is Euro nymphing. It makes everybody insecure because somehow there's Spanish Euro nymphing.
Yeah.
Polish Euro nymphing, Czech Euro nymphing, French Euro nymphing. I mean, and it's all absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
It's absolute
marketing.
bullshit. It's just marketing, and these guys are putting together a leader with little round
the little leader rings.
Yeah, leader rings,
Or whatever they're
and you build this leader up of different nylons, and oh my God,
It's hanging off here and there.
It's absolutely crazy. And my friend Mauro got rid of all of that shit. And so he, instead of a 25-foot leader, he just has he has a 40 feet of 20-pound mono. And so he eliminated. I mean, I don't like fishing that way because I still enjoy fly casting.
Yeah.
He's lobbing.
Yeah.
But he's unbelievably effective. I mean,
Yeah.
and for me, when I nymph, I take off my leader, my tapered leader, and I just put on. If the water is 3 feet deep, I put on 6 feet of 5X tippet.
Yeah.
Material, straight tippet material.
Yeah.
And flies, 2 flies with the size and the weight to get it down to what I want, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I look at the end of my fly line. That's my indicator.
Yeah.
I don't use a bobber or anything. I just look at the end of and I keep it tight so I feel it more than anything else.
Yeah.
That's my nymphing. That's my Euro nymphing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these magazines, article after article about, and books written about, it's kind of like business books. There's so many business books out there that could have been an article instead of a whole book.
Yeah. Well, there's almost this idea that if it's complicated, then it must be legit, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Like the more complicated you can make something sound, the more real, legit, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, fall for that.
Yeah.
Well,
Something you wouldn't fall for.
everybody's insecure.
Yeah.
I compare it to women's cosmetics or something. $100 jar of face cream must be better than a $20 face cream.
Yeah.
So yet, some of the most beautiful women in Italy just put olive oil on their skin.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same thing with fly fishermen. They're so insecure, they've got to have
Piles
100
and
different
piles.
flies.
Yeah.
And I tell people to get close to fish, and people go, you can't get that close to fish. And I said, trust me, scooch on your butt, walk on your knees, and pretty soon you're within a rod length of a feeding fish.
Yeah.
And it tickles me when they come back and they go, you can really get close to fish if you try. And I said, yeah. And you can keep track of your fly. You can defeat drag. You can present an accurate cast. We were talking about primarily large fish will take a fly either on the right side of their mouth or on the left.
Yeah.
Next time you catch a fish, take a look, and quite often they'll be scarred on one side or the other.
Because they favor one side or the other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it really depends on what side they're feeding on, where you present your dry fly. If you present it to the left side and they're primarily feeding on the right, you're not going to get taken. And I had a case last summer with a grayling. Could not fool that fish, and I am literally a rod length away, and it's right even with me facing in the current. Well, I finally threw a short cast on this side. I was fishing on the far side, thinking he wouldn't see me.
Yeah.
Threw a near cast. He went and ate my fly. He was blind in his left eye. He couldn't see my fly.
That's so good. You've mentioned Mauro, right? Who we should say is the third author of the new book. Where does Mauro live?
He lives in not far from Milan, near Lago Como.
Oh, okay. In Italy.
So he fishes all the way up to the Austrian border, Piemonte, all the way up in the Dolomites and to the Austrian border.
Everything out there.
Every week. I mean, he fishes almost as many. Well, he fishes as many days as Craig does.
Yeah.
I mean, which is basically half the year.
Yeah. How often do you guys get to see him?
I go there almost every year.
To fish in Italy?
To tell you the truth, Italy has better fishing than Montana.
Uh-oh. You're gonna get yourself in trouble.
I know, but you drive around Italy and you see these rivers that are all been channelized, and they're, mining gravel out of them, and you think, oh, there can't be any fish. And next to freeways, can't be any fish in there. You know what? It's full of fish.
Yeah.
because the water is San Pellegrino water.
Yeah.
It's all limestone.
Yeah.
You know, Italy is almost all limestone, and so the bug
Full of
life
bugs.
is phenomenal. So every river has grayling, brown trout,
Big grayling.
rainbows, and marble trout.
Yeah.
Every river.
Yeah.
And so few fishermen, so few Italians fish, and it's complicated. There's no way a tourist could go to Italy and on their own and fish.
Figure it
You
out.
got to know which bar you go to get the permit to fish that one stretch of that river. And then another stretch of that same river, you got to go to this hotel and get it. I mean, the
different
permits cost you hardly anything, but you got to have it.
You got to know where to go.
And then there's a lot of private water.
Yeah.
And so you got to know your way around. And my Mauro knows everybody in Italy, everybody. And it's La Familia. You know, you got to be part of the family.
Yeah.
And once you're part of the family, everything is open. I've never seen better fishing anywhere.
Have you ever fished over in like the Bosnia, Croatia area with him? Any of
But I have.
any of those streams?
I fished in Slovenia.
Oh, okay.
Slovenia is. I could live in
Slovenia, another
Slovenia.
one, yeah.
It's a wonderful country, and it had unbelievable fishing. And about 5 years ago, it had a catastrophic flood that just blew out every river in Slovenia,
Oh, really?
and it's coming back now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went there about 5 or 6 years ago, and oh my God, I never caught so many big fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Mauro comes here too. He
does.
comes like every other year. He's
Yeah, he
here for
comes.
a week or two.
Yeah.
And-
Here to
and
Western
I
Montana.
fish with him in Patagonia every year.
Oh, okay.
We spend 2-3
So you guys,
weeks a year. in
you guys see
Patagonia.
each other regularly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. That's great.
oh yeah.
What do you think you guys, before we go, what do you think you guys have sort of, you two, but also maybe the three of you as the, three people that made this book happen? Like, what have you guys learned from each other over these last 30, 40 years? What are the important things you think you've learned from each other or given to each other?
Yeah, we prefer to fish differently.
Yeah.
I mean, Craig loves dry fly fishing.
Yeah.
Mauro loves nymphing. I mean, 99% of the time he's nymphing, and I love using soft hackles and flimps.
Yeah.
And so it was easier to put the book together because we each did our part.
Yeah.
It's
And
interesting. We all go separately and fish for a couple hours. Then we come back and regroup and kind of hold court and talk about.
yeah,
You don't sit and heckle each other, give each other shit
Oh yeah.
out there
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We.
sometimes.
Oh yeah. Sometimes.
yeah.
Great cast.
I learned a lot about nymphing from Mauro.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he learned a lot about using soft hackles. And, I mean, his number one nymph is a beadhead pheasant tail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his number one. And before that, he had all these Czech nymphs,
Remember that?
and boxes and boxes of these,
Yeah.
all lined up.
Oh God, it was amazing.
Color coordinated.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, now he's
Some tweezers to.
now
pull 'em out.
80% of the time he's using a beadhead pheasant tail nymph.
And he is so confident that I talked about that fish last night in Bozeman.
The firehole fish.
Yeah, that firehole fish. He caught that fish 2 or 3 years later. Comes back. He said, "I'm going to catch that fish again." And I'm going, "That fish is long gone." And he caught the same doggone fish. And we
That's
know it's the
amazing.
same fish because we have photos of it. And it's got some real irregular markings towards the tail end of it. It's the
Yeah.
same fish, and it grew 2.5 inches.
That's so funny. That's so great.
And we're always talking fly pattern. It's interesting. Yvon and Mauro will be downstairs when they're staying with us at our home, and you'll hear them 4:30 in the morning. They're talking fly patterns.
Just can't get enough.
Yeah.
We never, having dinner. That's all we do is talk about.
Well, I mean, we've got 17 flies in that book.
Yeah.
And I say I really like fishing soft hackles and stuff. Well, for the last month, I've been fishing exclusively dry flies
Yeah.
because I've been fishing the Spring Creek, this and I was just talking to Ken
Takata, yeah.
Takata. I was fishing with him the other day, and he showed me his favorite midge pattern,
Yeah.
which was one barb of pheasant tail wrapped around a size 22 hook,
Yeah.
and then one turn of the
Peacock.
Peacock roll. Yeah.
2 ingredients.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like making a pasta with 2 ingredients.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. It's one of the best flies I've ever used.
Yeah.
It should have been in the book. So, this book is not saying this is all you need. You can be creative and replace a lot of different flies using pheasant. The material is so good. I mean, that and Hungarian partridge are the 2 materials that I can't live without.
Yeah.
They are really kind of magical, especially pheasant tail, because chicken feathers in all different colors. That's one thing, but they don't have that sort of, I don't know, pizzazz to them. For a feather.
And you know what's so unique about pheasant tail?
Yeah.
You can come. I used to love anglers and fly tyers would come in our shop, and we never had them packaged up. We had them just loose.
Yeah.
Whole pheasant tails, the whole clump.
Yeah.
20 feathers, the 2
Yeah.
center tail feathers. And guys, experienced fly tyers would come in, and they would spend
'em out.
hours going, "Oh, look at this one. It's got a little purple, reddish purpley tinge to it. And this
Yeah.
one's a little iridescent." Just
Yeah.
picking out those pheasant tails.
Just the
And they're
special.
every one of
little
them is
feather.
different. Every
Yeah.
one of them is different.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you need 100 different pheasant tails, but you need a wild pheasant too. Everybody that
Yeah.
buys pheasant tails really should take a
Well,
real close
same
look.
with the Hungarian partridge.
Partridge.
Yeah.
You buy a tame bird, they're all pecked and
Yeah.
yeah.
Or even a
I've
wild
seen
bird
that.
in September isn't worth a shit.
No.
Yeah.
You got to get it later in the
Yeah.
season.
November and December are the best time
Yeah.
for prime huns.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that little midge pattern I was telling you about, the zebra midge, midges are real segmented,
Yeah.
and like a zebra midge, you put a silver wire to
Some
segment
sort
it.
of rib.
When you're using one barb, you don't have to do that.
Yep.
It looks
Kind of has a
segmented.
It does
Natural-
look segmented, yeah.
Natural rib to it.
Yeah.
And you can tie one in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even a really tiny one. That I used to be scared of tying anything over size 20.
Yeah.
Now I'm tying 28s. I'm not to 32s yet, and I never will be probably. But now a 20 looks gigantic to me,
Yeah.
and it's so easy to tie a 28 midge pattern where you're using one barbel,
Yeah.
and
Anyone can tie.
anybody can
that
tie
fly.
that.
Yeah.
You got to get some real thin thread though. You got to use that. I use that 12
12-aught.
aught Simplify
Simplify.
thread, which is really good.
Yeah.
Really strong for
Yeah.
12-aught. Yeah.
Yeah.
And most fly fishermen have a fear of fishing small flies. I was included with that.
Oh yeah. I
thought,
feel
my
that
God,
way.
I can't. The other day, case in point, they're rising to 28 betas, a little cream colored betas on the Madison, and I only had 26s on 6.5X trout hunter tippet, but I was just railing them
Yeah.
with those small flies.
Yeah.
That little hook. The only problem is it hooks so well sometimes you have to cut the hook off, even though you made it barbless.
Yeah. 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 A little hard to get it out of there.
Yeah, but a price of an 18, 19-inch wild rainbow or brown trout,
Yeah.
that's the price you have to pay, and it's worth every penny of it,
Yeah.
losing
Yeah.
that hook.
Yeah.
What I hope with this book is that it encourages people to get into fly tying,
Yeah.
because you rarely ever go to a fly shop now that has any materials, and they call themselves a fly shop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the most satisfying thing is to be skunked on a river and think, oh God, now I know what to do. And you go home and you tie the fly that you should have had.
Yeah.
And then you go back. You can hardly wait to go back, and that is so satisfying.
Yeah.
It's and everybody thinks you have to tie these really precise flies and stuff. I find that the shaggier, the crappier it looks, the more effective it is. You know, the realistic flies, I mean, there are guys that tie these things that look like, you know, you're ready to swat at it. It looks absolutely alive.
Yeah.
They don't work.
Yeah.
They don't work at all because trout are, they're bullies and they're predators. And they prey on the injured, the cripples, and that's what works.
Yes.
It really works.
Yeah.
And I think the thing I always like to point out is a lot of fly fishermen think of fly tying and fly fishing and trout as something to be conquered.
Yeah.
You know, we got to almost wage a war against them.
Well, it goes back to that idea, right, of focusing on the outcome rather than
That's
the
right.
whole process.
The whole process. Yep.
Right.
I
Yeah.
tell people to take a deep breath, learn to tie a simple fly, and you will be so rewarded.
I remember the first fish I caught on a fly I tied. Absolutely.
You never forget that fish.
Never forget that fish.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something special. A lot of really great ideas in this book for.
Well, it really enriches fly fishing, I think.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, people now, the whole fly fishing industry is under this delusion that it's a growth industry. It's not at all.
Yeah.
There's less and less fly fishermen. But the industry measures how many days of fly fishing occur. But what is happening is tourists come to Jackson Hole and say, oh, it's Thursday. This is the day we go fly fishing.
Yeah.
So they hire a guide, $850 a day, plus tips, and they get on a boat, and the guy sets them up with a bobber and a dropper, and this is their day of fly fishing. And well, that counts as a fly fisherman.
Yeah.
Those people will never fish again. Whereas the count of how many fly fishermen there are in England is an accurate count. Because they don't fish with guides and boats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is a state of the art now. Is you just go for one day and the goal is to catch a fish.
Yeah.
And the tip is dependent on catching a fish.
Yeah.
And this is the state of the art of fly fishing right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, this little Spring Creek fishing is. I mean, 8X tippet and size 28 flies and stuff. And I watch. It's a public Spring Creek.
Yeah.
I watch guys show up with a red and white bobber and this gigantic fly, and they wonder why they can't catch a fish.
Yeah.
Oh my God! It's
You know, that Spring Creek he's talking about, you walk and you sit down and you just sit there, and pretty soon the fish come to you.
Yeah.
They're all over the place.
Yeah.
And if you stand up, it's all
they're
over.
gone. They're
They're
gone.
gone.
Yeah. 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 Well, what do you guys have coming up with the rest of the fall? Any fun trips, fun fishing, taking it easy, relaxing?
Oh, I'm going to New Zealand November 1st.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, I'm going there to establish my residency. I'm not moving to New Zealand, but I have a place to go just in case I get labeled an eco-terrorist.
Yeah. Yeah. In case you get blacklisted.
Which is,
I know. It's feeling more and more like a, yeah.
yeah, they
Thing that
tried
could
to
happen.
pass a law recently, tried to get it through Congress,
Yep.
that
Yep.
all environmental organizations were eco-terrorist organizations.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
You'll
gonna
be-
look.
And I'm one of the biggest funders. So, you know, I've got some gold fillings. I've got a Canadian passport. Now I got residency in New Zealand, and so I'm good.
How about you, Craig?
I'm going to look at the weather every day. I look at the 10-day forecast. We got 5 days of rain and snow coming up. I'm going to be fishing betas.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, I'm going to be working my bird dogs.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's nice. I'm curious. You are, Craig, so synonymous in some ways with trout fishing in Montana. Do you go steelheading? Do you go tropical fishing? Do you go
we went to Belize and the Bahamas and Cuba on the first U.S. State Department approved trip to Cuba years ago, and fish bonefish. We used to fish bonefish 6-8 weeks a year.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. It kind of burned out a little bit.
Oh, really?
And my bird dogs want to go shoot desert birds, so we usually head down to Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona.
Oh, cool.
And and I do a lot of conservation talks around the country.
Yeah.
And I still tie flies. I try to tie about 1,000 dozen flies a year.
Wow. 1,000 dozen?
Yeah. I donate a lot of flies. That's 12,000 flies.
12,000 flies.
Yeah. I'm at about 763, I think, so far this year. 763 dozen.
That's a lot. I'm lucky if I like to tie flies. I don't get enough time to do it. I'm probably lucky if I tie 12 flies a year. But the reason for that is that I just tie the flies that I need. Yeah. And I spend a lot of time steelheading, and you don't need very many flies steelheading. So
when I used to steelhead in British Columbia a lot, and the Skeena, the Bulkley, the Kispiaks, the Dean.
Yeah.
I kind of got away from that with the dogs. And
yeah.
I have 3 of them in the man time.
Yeah. A lot of fun things to be doing out there, and that could be taking your time. But either way, well, guys, thanks so much. I don't know, is there anything else that you wanted to say before we wrapped up about the book or about the books or?
Well, what I hope people get out of it is simplifying your fishing, simplifying your life. A lot of young people ask me, I know the whole planet's going to hell, and what can I do about it? And I think what anybody can do, I tell them, what are you good at? And, if you're a writer, write about the evils of the world, and if you're a photographer, you can help with that. But everybody can simplify their lives.
Yeah.
And, when I was born, I'll be 87 in a couple of weeks. When I was born, there were 2,500,000,000 people on the planet. Now there's 8 billion, and we're using up the resources of, 7 planets. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't take a genius to know that leads to bankruptcy.
Yeah. And
so if we just consume better and consume less, don't buy that banana slicer. And own, a couple really good knives.
Yeah.
So you don't have to keep replacing them or anything, and own fewer things and repair things and lead a simpler life. It's the most responsible thing you can do right now, I think.
Yeah.
And every penny of the royalties off our books goes to conservation causes. Mm-hmm. And when people find out about that, they not only buy a book, they'll buy 3 books.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's
buy one for your friends, folks.
Really special.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Yvon, happy birthday in a couple of weeks. And guys,
there's no more happy birthdays anymore.
Well, either way, thanks so much, guys. It was a real pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks for having us.
That's it for today and for season 2 of Sidechannels. I hope you've enjoyed the podcast thus far, and if you have, we'd love to hear about it. Leave us a review, leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It helps new people find the show, which helps us keep doing the show. As always, Sidechannels is produced by me, with production support from Jeff Galbraith and Colin Wiseman, and digital and web support from Spencer Arps, Kopi Voita, and Jesse Lou Galbraith. Thanks again to our sponsors, Decked. Get decked and get after it at decked.com/flyfish. And Patagonia Fly Fishing. Dependable gear built to connect with wild fish. Visit patagonia.com/fly-fish to learn more. Finally, I hope you'll consider becoming a subscriber to the Fly Fish Journal. Subscribers keep the lights on and the ink flowing. Become a subscriber at theflyfishjournal.com/subscription. Thanks for listening to Sidechannels. Don't forget to enjoy the process, and we'll be back soon.